my channel. So today we're recapping episode 4 of season 4 of The Boys, streaming now on Amazon Prime, and we had another full hour episode. And this episode, I thought it was the toughest one to watch, and not because of the violent factor, but because there was two scenes that I was sitting there and I was like, oh no, this is not happening. We'll talk about it later. But this episode, the main storyline is that Homelander, he goes back to the underground lab where he was made. We see how Homelander went from being Little John, just a little kid, to being the Homelander. And some of the scientists that worked in that lab when he was a kid, they're still working there. And then there's like new scientists. But those people, they know they have it coming. And so did I, because on the trailer for this new season, we see a shot of Homelander covered in blood and with a grin on his face. And when he's coming up the elevator, actually not coming up, he's going down the elevator to get to the lab, I was like, oh no, this is the scene where he's gonna come out of there like drenched in blood, and there are going to be no souls to tell the tale. I thought it was so interesting that they didn't rely on showing flashbacks to let us know what happened to Little John, at the lab. The whole time was just Homelander narrating everything from, the chamber that they put him in to scorch his skin, to like burn his skin to see, how far he could take, to one of the staff humiliating him because he was caught, with his pants down trying to like pleasure himself when he was a teenager. And then he shows where the bedroom is. So everything that we could have seen in motion, it's just Homelander telling us what happened. Even Dr. Barbara, she's the one in charge. She was describing what was like when Homelander was born. And once again, they could have shown us that, but they decided not to. And she was saying that when he was born, he lasered all the nurses, and then he lasered the woman that was carrying him, and he was still attached by his umbilical cord. I also think that she wanted to make a point that they didn't make him a monster. He was born that way. It was all very fascinating, and I think Homelander, it's at that point in his life that he doesn't even care about being feared. Yeah, like he wants people to fear him, but he wants adoration. And isn't that what people in power crave? People's adoration? All those scenes in the lab were fantastic. Every time Homelander was describing something that happened to him, you could feel him getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And then when he started to give that laugh that he sounded like a maniac, oh, he could give Joker a run for his money. Anthony Starr is just, he's stellar. We all know how diabolical Homelander can be, but Anthony Starr is doing such a great job of showing how complex Homelander is. He went through so much suffering in that lab that no wonder he's the way he is now. I mean, I was sick revenge too. And that line that he said about being put in that chamber that burned his skin, he said, my skin didn't burn, but my tears sizzled away. Oh, that writing was mwah. When he made Marty, one of the scientists, the one that humiliated him as a teenager, caught him with his pants down, Homelander made him masturbate himself in front of everyone. Otherwise, he would laser his dick off. Spoiler alert, he did. But that scene was so uncomfortable to watch. Like the guy, Marty, spitting on his hand. It was as uncomfortable, almost as uncomfortable as that scene on the first episode of season 1 of Black Mirror. The Prime Minister of England has to have sex with a pig, and we kind of see it happen. It was so uncomfortable to watch. I always tell people that have never seen Black Mirror, don't start with the first episode because that will scare you away. Start with the second episode and then go back to the first episode. Kimiko dies again. I think Kimiko is becoming the Kenny, Kenny from South Park of The Boys. Like all the different ways that this girl can die, we see it. This time she got shot in the stomach. She blows up in 2 pieces. Huey makes amends with A-Train. They shake hands because A-Train gives him some compound V to try to save Huey's dad that's in a coma. And I asked in my last video if you guys thought that A-Train could be redeemable. I think he is now. Yeah, I think he earned my forgiveness. Oh, Huey finally got a good fighting scene. That scene that he's fighting the people that are trying to get to Kimiko was very well choreographed. And what did I tell you about Huey's mom? We could not trust that bitch. As soon as she said she worked for Va, I was like, I don't trust you. You come in here after leaving the kid when he was, what, 6 years old? And then you come with all this essential oil stuff, which now I think they weren't essential oils. They were compound V, because we see that Huey, he puts the idea to the side. I think Kimiko and Butcher convince him not to give V to his dad, but his mom does it, which I kind of saw it coming because Simon Pegg is just laying there doing nothing. It's like, how much are they paying him just to be laying in a hospital bed? They could have gotten a double. So they're bringing him back to life. Also reminded me of a line in Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. We're getting a new one. They're trying to bring her husband back, and her aunts say, when you bring him back, it won't be him. It will be a darker version of him. So I wonder that's what's going to happen with Huey's dad. Frenchie and Colin. Frenchie finally comes out clean and tells Colin that he's the one that murdered his family. Then he gets a beating. Can we just put Frenchie and Kimiko back together? Because that's when we get their best. Sister Sage, you guys were right. You are a bunch of internet detectives, sleuths, whatever you want to call it, but you guys were right. She did perform a lobotomy on herself temporarily because that is her superpower. I thought it was so cool because when she came into the picture, I was like, okay, what is your superpower? You just smart? You like a bookworm? What is this? You must have a superpower. So her superpower is that her brain regenerates. She cannot get shot in the head and die because her brain goes back to life, almost like Kimiko's body. She can get shot in the heart and then she dies. Great job on Susan Hayward's part because she totally changed like the look on her face when she dumbified herself. After he stuck that metal stick in her eye, she's like, do you want something from Flavortown? My pussy. And what did I say in my last video? That, yeah, it must be exhausting to be the smartest person in the world. It reminded me of something that Barack Obama said. He said, if I'm in a room and I'm the smartest person, I'm in the wrong room, right? Because you cannot learn. So I'm giving you guys a lot of credit for finding out that that tool that was on the table, it was a lobotomy tool. But did you guys already know that? Did you read the comics? Is that something that is shown in the comics about Sister Sage? One thing that I'm very disappointed so far in the seasons that they're not giving Carl Urban Butcher a lot this season. I am tired of hearing him moaning and groaning and having visions of Becca, but I guess there is hope because he is stronger than he thinks he is by that, the scene that he's being strangled by the pastor guy, that he's a soup. Yeah, so he's about to kill Butcher, and Butcher, we don't see it, but the man basically explodes on that trailer. So I think there's something growing inside of Butcher's body because we see when he's in the shower, we see something on his back that's growing. Starlight, all her skeletons are coming out of the closet. We find out that she blinded some lady by accident when she was trying to do a save. This was years ago. Last episode, we found out that she was a bully to Firecracker, and then also that she had an abortion. So Firecracker released her medical records, which I think that's illegal. So I think Firecracker deserved that beating. That felt very political to me because that's almost something that politicians do nowadays, digging up dirt on their opponents. So far, this is not the best season yet. Rotten Tomato scores are not that good. And I think because this season feels a lot more serious and political, I think we can all agree on that. instead of, the last seasons that we had, previous seasons, they were more satirical and funny. Plus, like I said, no one seems to care about the subplots that are going on with Frenchie, Kimiko, and no one seems to care. I think we're all here for Homelander. It's like, just do a show with Anthony Starr and Homelander. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read the comics, if you knew that's what Sister Sage was doing. What do you think it's her end game? Do you think she wants to take over Vought and the Seven? She wants to take down everyone? Because remember what she said when, what's her name? Firecracker got beat up by Starlight. She was sitting there at the office and she said, that's the first pebble falling down the mountain. So she definitely has a personal agenda. So sound off in the comments down below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you next time.